Stitcher. This is Flosstube number 58. I knew it this time. And today is May 11, 2023. And I am excited to show you what I've been working on. It's been a while since I made a video. It's been, I think, over a month. And I haven't been doing that, but I have been stitching every day and watching Flosstube. And I've been, still got the stitching out everywhere. And it's happening. So I wanted to share my update with you, what I've been doing, ramble about life a little bit, and all the things, and hear from you all. So let's get going. So as usual, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, and we'll see how this goes. I hadn't gotten around to making a video, hadn't just been up to it really, and today I just all of a sudden, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to try to do this. So I don't, as always, it's not planned, it's just very random. I am filming this on my phone instead of my camera, and so I don't know how the quality is going to be, and I already think I'm not syncing up with the audio, so we shall see what happens with that. But anyways, as they say, let's get into the stitching. I don't have any finishes. Who's not shocked? So no finishes. I said in my last video, if I remember, that I would have 3 things finished. At least I would have gentle needle finished. I did put a couple stitches in it, so it's closer to finished by about 5 stitches. I kid you not. This is where it is, and I have no excuses except that I can't find 407. So I either need to find 407 or I need to go buy it, because I need to finish that in the flowers. The border's finished. I don't remember what I had done last time, and you probably don't either. So, I need to put these flowers in down here, and what else? I don't know. I feel like there's stuff in here that needs to be finished up. So maybe I will get that going after the video, and maybe I won't. We shall see. I also said that I would have this done. Isn't this funny? These happen to be on the top of my pile here, and it was not a conscious decision. It was, it just happened. And so I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. They're here. I said I would have Halloween Night finished. This is by Imaginating, and I do not have this finished. I think that I have more done on it, but again, I don't remember what I had in my last video. So I know that the last thing I worked on was the raindrops border along the edges, but I don't know. I mean, that's been a while, and I know I worked more down here on the rats at the bottom, and I worked on the border a little bit more. That one I just really, well, I guess both of them, I just really haven't been motivated to stitch on. I've been wanting to stitch on other things, but I really need to get them done. I don't know, there's something with me that when I get close to the end of a project, I just don't work on it anymore. And so I mean, obviously I'm not a, what is the word? The product stitcher. I'm obviously not that. But you'd think I'd want to just get it done when there's just a few stitches left, because literally, especially on gentle needle, there's literally only maybe like a few dozen stitches left, if that. So it's pretty ridiculous. And then I said I would be done with this. This is my Country Cottage Needleworks January Cottage. I was going to do one a month at the beginning of the year. Didn't happen, but I do need to finish this, and it's not finished. I haven't worked on this at all since the last time I showed it. When I showed it, if I showed it, I don't know. And I just actually found it. It was underneath a box that I moved. It was not in the box. It was under the box on the shelf. So I was like, oh, well, there you are. So whips. So it's been a while, and I'm going to do whips. I've been doing a lot of whips, and I have a few new starts, and I have things I want to start. And so, same thing, same as usual. What is that? Okay. Oh, this is something else. I think I said I was going to have done by next video, in my last video, and it's not done. Shocking. I know. I'm just one surprise after another. For real, for serious. Okay, this is my Mary Mary Needleworker piece. This is Lindy Stitches, and this is done on 32 count Bramble, which is the called for, with Weeks Dye Works, and there's some DMC in there, but the skirt is Weeks Dye Works Seafoam. I said that I would have this done, and it's not done, but I did make progress. There is more skirt done than the last time I showed it. And I know there's at least 3 rows there, and there's only like 3 more rows left. And I'm a little like not happy. I guess I'll wait till I get done. I feel like this isn't very symmetrical. I mean, not that it has to be perfectly symmetrical, but you know, I mean, it seems like this side is way coming in faster than this side, which, I mean, that could work. I'll wait and see. I may like tweak that a little bit, but I'll finish at some point. I will finish that skirt. And then I think that's it for what I promised I'd finish that I didn't finish. And then I'll just get on to the whips and the things that I worked on. Oh, I did mention this in my last video. So this is my Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. This is stitched on a 40 count, which I probably won't do much more of those. But this is a 40 count, what is it, pewter? I don't remember. Is it not marked? Yeah, pewter. Oh, that's right. Pewter and by Picture This Plus, and it's got the fancy flosses and some DMC conversion, some DMC switcheroos. But I did say I would finish the witch last time I showed this, and I did. So the witch is finished this time. And she has a lot of wrong, the stitches are wrong. I had to sneeze. So there's probably a weird cut there, and I don't think you need to hear me. You want to hear me sneeze. So if you ever hear Flosstubers talk about the itchy Flosstube nose, it's a thing. It's really a thing. I don't know, like as soon as you start doing the video, your nose gets itchy and wants to sneeze. So it's really strange, but it's a real thing. I pulled out my Teresa Wentzler Dragon for 2 days. Again, not much progress to notice, but I did put in more of the tree. This was very slow going because, you know, when you get something out and you're working on it and then you have to get back in the swing of things and remember, especially like with this one, there's a lot of combined tweeting, like 2 colors together. And I was getting cross-eyed on it. And so that's what I got done. I mean, you can't really tell but I did. I got more of this filled in, the leaves up here, and a little bit more of the bark. Not a whole lot. I mean, I worked on it for a few hours, but I don't feel like I made very good progress. This is on a 28 count cream even weave, I think, that I had purchased at, no, it's not. I got that from 123 Stitch. I keep wanting to say I got it at Joann's. That's not the fabric, but it is a 28 count even weave ivory, and I love it. The next one acquired a new motif, which is, I don't know what. It's maybe chocolate. This is Do Different by Long Dog Samplers, and this piece I did have sitting on my dresser in my room and not covered up. I mean, it was folded, you know, and folded up and sitting on top of some boxes of floss, and I went to get it out. I went to pick it up and I realized that there was a spot on it, so I haven't even attempted to wash it, but this is DMC 310, so I'm not too worried, and it's a Weigart, I don't know, antique white or something, so it should be washable, and probably that's going to be an open negative space and probably not covered up, so I probably should go ahead and try to wash it. But I did make progress. What did I do? I think I came up here. It's been a few weeks, but I think I came up here and worked on this corner and finished this corner up, and then the year I believe goes in here, so I'm waiting on that. That's why it looks kind of blank, but I love it. Again, I love the clean lines and the geometrical, you know, goings on in this piece, and I really like it. I really like pulling it out. I had to frog a lot the last time I went to stitch it. It took me a while to get caught back up to where I need to be because I had miscounted somewhere, and that is a 25 count 1/1 on an even weave Lugano. I'll show you my treasure hunt bookshelf that I worked on some more as well since my last time I showed, and it's currently on one of my Q snaps. And this is where I am with this one. Not intentionally working diagonally. I don't know why it's that way. It's almost like I went this way with it. Just picking color because my pattern keeper is not updated properly when it switched over phone. So I'm still trying to figure out what's filled in and what's not filled in. And it says that I'm 10% done with this piece, which is kind of hard to believe. And that's not even, I don't think, accurate because I don't have everything filled in. So it's over 10%. But I love it. I love every time I pick it up. I'm just like, I love it so much. I worked on this part here and trying to figure out what that is. I think looking at the picture, I think this is a jewelry box. There's a ballerina that's going to be up here, and then the owl that sits. And so this is their jewels spilling out of this. So there's a horseshoe, which doesn't show up real good. This version is the regular chart. No, it's the regular, but it's the color expansion. So it's in between the regular colors and the max colors. So yeah, that's that. And I really am trying to put in a few stitches on this every couple days, and that's why I have kept it on the Q-snap, because I have so many full coverages that I want to start, that I have going, and I really want to make more progress on the full coverages. And that one is that one I have the most progress on, I think, right now. Then I also worked on my other long dog sampler, which is Death by Cross Stitch. And this is done on a 25 count 1/1 with a Silks for You called PR124. I hope I have that right. Still not a page finish, but I did, like I said in my last video, once I get this border all the way around, let's see if I can hold this up. Once I get this border all the way around, up till here, then that will be considered page 1. And page 2, I believe, is pretty much done. Do I have? Yeah, I'll have to look and see where page 2 ends, because it's pretty darn close. I know this is going into the next page. And then this page is almost done. So I picked this up this week and I worked on the alphabet. And I finished this row. I finished the M and the L. And then I put in this whole row of letters. PRSTU, and I started working on the Z and the Y. And I really like stitching those letters. They really stitch up quickly, and it's fun. And again, they're stitched in T's and crosses, just in various patterns, which I think is cool. And it's just it's so neat to see how things can be put together and designed in different ways. Oh, I got lint on my shirt. Okay. Now, I need to stop saying okay, don't I? Now I'm going to show another full coverage. This is a Luca S kit that I am so in love with. It's called Paris in Bloom, or they translated it Paris in Flower, but I call it Paris in Bloom. And it's a Luca S kit. Do I have it the right way up? Yes, I do. I put a lot of time on this one. I don't know that it shows in progress, but I did put a lot of time in it. And I worked on the flowers up here and the flower in this part down here. And this is the edge right here of the picture of the design. So I did get all the way to that edge. And this is the halfway point, you know, in the middle, because I started in the middle and worked my way out. And I want to say this is 18 count. I don't remember, it's 18 or 16, probably 18, with a Luca S floss. Now, I saw on Flosstube recently someone saying that Luca S makes their own floss, and they you can actually buy it separately, and then they use it in their kits. But the kit that I have says Anchor on it, so I don't know if it really matters but yeah, it's not Luca floss, so I can't comment yet on that, because someone asked me about that recently when I was showing it, and they said they were asking me about, or talking about it, and they were asking about Luca S floss, so I don't know. But I like the Anchor. I mean, I've used Anchor for years too. So this one has become my 25/7 piece. 25/7 is something that Melanie of Soulful Stitching, or Soulful Stitcher, has started, where you pick a focus piece to work on every day for 25 minutes, and oftentimes I go a lot longer. This piece is the Summer Cottage, or Summer Treehouse rather, from Soda Stitch. And my friend Amber, hi Amber, I'm shouting you out again, so now you gotta shout me out again. I'm teasing. It's like this back and forth thing. No, like, I love Amber, and Amber's my friend, and so I talk to Amber and we talk, like, yeah. So it's not a shout me out. This is a pattern that was not available as far as I know. Like, I don't know if it was technically out of print, but you couldn't find it. She had taken the designer had taken the kids out of it, and I really liked the one with the kids in it. I just thought it gave it more character. And so I mentioned it to Amber, or I mentioned it on my Flosstube or somewhere, and she so kindly sent me all 4 patterns. And then, of course, as soon as she sent them to me, then Sew to Stitch put them up on Etsy. So I actually did go on and I bought this one on Etsy to support it, you know, $4 or whatever. But yeah, so I'm hanging on to those. And then once I guess technically I was going to hang on to them. And then when I was done stitching them, send them back to Amber. But I guess now that they are available on Etsy, I could go ahead and send them back and stitch from Etsy. So, but I love it. I love it. I love it. This is such, you know, Sew to Stitch is such a cheerful, happy experience every time you pick it up. And this is no exception. I'm stitching this on a fabric called Nessie by Picture This Plus in 32 count Lugana. And I don't know if I'm going to have room to stitch all 4 of them on this piece. That was my hope. But, you know, I didn't really measure it like I probably should have. And I sort of just started kind of randomly. I probably could have gone a little bit closer to the edges. But it was a little tricky because the top, you know, the top up here is not the top here, and the side over here is not the side at the corner. So without gridding, you know, it was kind of just a guessing game. But maybe I can squeeze it on. Gorgeous, happy colors. Now I have another start that I started a few months ago. I don't know when. I don't think I ever showed it on my channel. It was supposed to have been a birthday start that wasn't. And I finally got it together and got it started. So I'm going to show it. I haven't worked on it since my initial start. But I will put the picture up of what the finished piece looks like. And I will show you where my start is. What I got done. This is actually stitched. Okay, I don't even remember. I think it's a 25 count, I think, on Silvery Moon, I believe, or Antique White. And I know that it is a Classic Colorworks Bejeweled, which is this beautiful teal. It's close to DMC 3847, which is my favorite DMC color. I think it is the perfect, like, just the most, you know, gorgeous thing. The color. So I really like that. I was hoping it was going to be a little more variegated. It's not real variegated, but it's good. I like it. I mean, you know, sometimes you don't want something that's really contrasted. One thing that bugs me when I'm stitching is when I'm stitching a piece where you have like really dark variegation and then it goes to really light variegation and you can't really see it and your eyes are kind of like, I think there's a letter there, but it's like pale yellow, and you know. So I would be remiss not to mention the Be Kind Easter Sal that Beth and I started and I have been slacking off on. And I've got to show you, I got to tell you that there is this lovely, lovely Flosstuber, and she goes by Stitchy Sally. Let me make sure that's the complete channel name because I know that it's Stitchy. Yeah, Stitchy Sally is her channel name. And she's on Instagram. Woo. And she's wonderful. She's in the UK and she's got this gorgeous, lovely accent. And she is making great progress on it. And she always mentions me whenever she posts updates. She tags me and I always like, oh, I guess I probably ought to get working on that. So I'm going to get some more stitches in this. This is where I am on it, and it's not going to probably show up very well, but I did work on the Be Kind part and be kind to one another, and I started on this whatever Quaker motif, whatever it is. So, and I'm looking forward to stitching the alphabet. I do love stitching letters. I love stitching. You'd think I'd stitch more samplers really because I love stitching houses and I love stitching letters. So, I mean, samplers have a lot of letters and houses on them. So that's my sampler thing. I did stitch some more on my Japanese garden. I've been taking it to the park. We've been doing a homeschool PE with my daughter because it's easy to pick up as a kit and just, you know, it's pretty easy to get like back into. And this thing, I've been doing better with trimming my threads, but this thing is not trimmed. So I'm sorry in advance, but here it is. I've been working, I took a break from the pink and the trees, which are still not done. And I worked on the sky in the middle. I put in some sky, put in some more trees up here, and I worked a little bit over here, trying to get those two matched up. There's a lot of empty negative space in the middle, and in the finished piece. So yeah, that's where I am with that. I'm looking forward to getting into the more of the pond and the reflection in the pond, because I think that's going to be really fun to see, and it's gorgeous. Jen Bowman is stitching this, and she started from the bottom coming up, and she's got like the rocks and the front foreground there, and it looks so stunning. It looks so beautiful. I will never not stitch dimension. I will always have the dimensions in my rotation. I think that's for the most part what I worked on since my last video. I want to show you what I've been collecting lately. I'm trying to pace myself, but I've been collecting project bags off of Etsy from Stitch in Peace. And some of you know this because a few of my friends I've sent bags to. And if you're my friend and I haven't sent bags to, you're probably going to get one sooner or later. So just don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. And these bags, I love these bags so much. They're covered with dog hair, so I'm sure that's showing up, and just please ignore it. That's me, my golden retriever. I love Garan. Mostly what I had before was Garan tote bags, which I still love Garan. Love the guys, love the bags. They are beautiful, and the fabrics that Ronnie chooses are delicious. Just stunning. This is one of them. He does this coordinating fabric inside, and they're big and roomy. This is the 13 by, I don't even remember, maybe 14 by 14? I think 14 by 14. Love them. $20 for this bag. So, but I started finding that I really liked the vinyl cover too, because I liked seeing what's in there. And also they tend to lay very much flatter for me, or stand up flatter, so that when I put them in my basket, I feel like they don't slide down as much. Does that make sense? So I got these new ones just in the last week for myself. The sunflowers with the yellow bees inside, and I've got my Hobbit house in there, and then the pretty butterflies, and I think those are pansies, very springtime, with the beautiful purple fabric inside. And I have a couple things in there. My Stitcher stash and my Fruits of Plenty are in there. And I have a number of her bags. Her name's Beverly. I think she might be on a short break, I think, when I looked at her shop, but she'll be back. Her bags are beautiful. I love this one. It's got the hoops, embroidery hoops. That's where my Be Kind is in. And she puts on all of them, she puts a charm on the zipper. They have the zipper like this. She puts a charm on every one, a little tassel. This one has a heart. There's a bee on some of the spring ones. Yeah. I think I mostly have hearts and bees. This one looks like it's another bee. So I think I have 4 or 5. I have some Christmas ones too. This one is really covered because you could see the dog here because of the black. So I love them. So pretty, so pretty. And I go sometimes periods where I think, well, I'm not going to spend my money on bags because I want to do, I want to spend it all on cross stitch supplies, but I find that I really do like collecting these, and I like having them, and it's much easier for me personally to stay more organized so that I can just pull out. I did have the bags from Amazon, and I like them and I recommend them, but for me, I don't know. I like these the best. So that's what I'm going with, and I'm really excited because I am getting more organized with them, and I am getting more organized with my floss, so I can pull out colors. If I don't have it in my bag, I can pull it out. Having said that, I did admit that I lost a couple colors that I don't know where they are, so there's still progress to be made. So what else? I do have a new plan start. I do have a new start planned. Let's try it that way. I have a new start planned for this week. And I just have to pick out my fabric and my floss. I actually, when I was getting stuff together for this video, I came across these bags of floss that I had bought last year of different variegated things. And I just now found them. And so I actually think I'm going to look through here and see if there's anything that I like for it. This is the chart that I decided on to do. And I say decided on because I have, right now, I've got a major Jane Eyre obsession. And dear Amber has been so lovely in like indulging me, because I've been texting her and being like, oh my gosh, we gotta talk about this. Please, let's talk about this. And she's been, you know, Amber's lovely and she's so generous and so open. And so she's been like really, really kind about, you know, discussing that with me. I came across the BBC version from like 2006 this last weekend. It was my first weekend off in months. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit and stitch and I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to, you know, I just have the streaming services and I hardly ever watch TV, hardly ever. I watch The Mandalorian with my 13-year-old son because he loves that show. And so when there's a new episode on, we watch it together. But and we watch Stranger Things. I watch Stranger Things with my youngest, my daughter. But that's about it. I haven't been watching anything. So I thought, let me put something on. The kids were occupied and I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy myself and watch something. Well, I couldn't find anything I wanted to watch. And then I thought, well, I'll watch, you know, I'm wanting to watch the things in the Scary Sampler that those elements are pulled from. I've talked about that before. And so one of them was Jane Eyre. So I start looking for Jane Eyre. And I find the newest version, the 2011. And I watched it and it was, you know, beautiful cinematography and everything, but I was disappointed by it. I felt like, anyway, I won't go into that because like that's not why I'm here. My point is I wanted to try other versions. So I started watching. I've seen I've seen almost all the other versions in the past over the years. But I watched this one and I was like blown away. And I was like, I'm obsessed again. I'm 19 again. I was really huge when I was a teenager and in my early 20s into the period drama and 19th century British literature, those classics, and loved them. And I have not, you know, been doing that in the last few years. You know, if you're a parent, you know how it can be kind of lose yourself and, you know, the things that you once loved kind of get pushed to the back burner and you don't really, you know, pay much attention to them. So now that my kids are getting older, I'm starting to try to bring go back to the things I loved, and I'm finding that I still love them. And so I'm super into this right now. And so I started looking around for a Jane Eyre piece to stitch. And Amber, you know, has been looking with me and we've been talking about them and I decided on this one. So that's my backstory. I decided on this one for now. I want to stitch probably all of them with some tweaks. I do have, well, I'll talk about that in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to do this. This is by Jacob, who we all know and love who is Modern Folk Embroidery. I want to do this in a red, I think. I think I'm going to do it in a red because red is a theme throughout the book that Bronte uses. Listen to me. I'm a literary expert now, aren't I? But yeah, I don't have a red sampler, and I thought, you know what, I think red will work. So whether I use all solid red or I'd like to use a variegated red, like what is it, 1115 I think is a beautiful red, and there's one in the 4000s that's a beautiful red. So figuring that out, that's my plan. I got to get going on that. I want to stitch this so much, and there are some other beautiful ones. There is one by Little Stitcher has at least 2 Jane Eyre themed ones, and there's another one out from like the Snowflower Diaries, I think it is, that she has with a quote. And so there, you know, there's options, which leads me into, again, I think I've mentioned before, I have all these ideas in my head about cross-stitch series that I would love to stitch and have. And there are so many that I do love and that I do stitch and that I obviously don't ever get finished. But for years I've had these sort of ideas. They're not quite fleshed out. They're kind of, still in the early, can't seem to quite get it together. But I know that there's something out there that I want that is a series of my favorite books and, movies or what, different things, fandoms, call it what you will, particularly literary, that I would love to stitch. Oh, and Stitching Book Club also has a beautiful Jane Eyre piece out with the colors are really pretty. I like how she added the homes on that one too. So anyway, we'll see. I've been trying to recruit my middle son to help me because he's very creative and he's artistic, but he's not really into that right now and definitely not into drawing Jane Eyre for me. So we'll see. We'll see what goes with that. I've been bugging Darcy lately and asking him, some tips, because he does these great patterns now and he's fairly new to the game of designing and so or releasing them. So I've been picking his brain a little bit and he's been very generous with letting me in on some of the industry secrets that the pros use, as he says. So thank you, kind Darcy, sir, for allowing me some nuggets of wisdom there. A lot of it is just going to be trial and error and figuring out whether I have the ability to put something together. I mean, it wouldn't be anything fancy, but it's just, I think that it would be fun to do. And I notice there are quite a few cross stitchers that stitch for many years and then they're like, well, I want to do that. I want to make one. And it's hard. I have a whole new respect for the designers that do this, especially before the software. I mean, hand drawing, and it is not easy. It is not easy at all. And some of these complex patterns, I'll tell you what, that takes skill and knowledge and talent. And I know you know that, but I do have a newfound appreciation for that and what goes into the design process and the actual creating of the cross-stitch pattern. So that's kind of where I am this week with, I felt life has been stressful. And getting through the days sometimes has been hard, but rekindling this love of these favorite books and favorite characters. And it's not just Jane Eyre. I watched Anne of Green Gables, and actually the Jane Eyre thing came about sort of because I watch Little Women. I've been trying to read Little Women with my daughter, and we're getting through it. She's kind of like, which is too bad, but whatever. We'll see. And so I showed her the 90s version of Little Women movie. And then I decided to watch the newer version, the 2019 version, because I hadn't seen that before. So she wandered off somewhere else. And so I watched Little Women. And then it was after Little Women that I was like, oh, let me continue watching these kind of favorite books, adaptations and things like that. So I've been listening to the soundtracks. The Anne of Green Gables soundtrack from the 1980s movie, if you are a woman of my age and you know that movie, that soundtrack is like the most perfect thing ever. I'm rambling now, but I could put on that music and it is just so renewing. It's so renewing, and so I'm really, it's helping me so much. Music, favorite books, favorite films even, and the stitching, always the stitching. The stitching consistently keeps me sort of on the border of sane. I think my family probably would dispute that word. But yeah, so I'm good. Things are good, and I'm on Flosstube, and if I am making a Flosstube video, usually it's because I'm in a good frame of mind. So that's my rambling. Thank you again to my dear friend Amber. I feel that you are a kindred spirit indeed, and I love you, and I appreciate all of our talks and and by the way, speaking of books and of Jane Eyre, my friend Beth, bye Amber, I'm going to Beth now. My friend Beth at the Steadfast Stitcher is another beloved, she's become another beloved friend, and she has a book club. If you have missed out, she has a book club. I think it's monthly, And they recently just did Jane Eyre, and I've missed out because they're usually on a Sunday when I'm working. But I'm hoping that now, if I can get every other weekend off again, that I will be able to join in sometimes if it falls on my weekend off. So I'm looking forward to that. So if you are wanting to stitch and chat books, go join Beth. And yeah, I mean, her Zoom club is open, I think, most days of the week anyway now. So I think I've rambled long enough, don't you? I think this has been plenty long. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining me and seeing my stitchy goodies. I do, again, promises, I do have stitch stash to pass on and share with you. And it is separated and bagged up, and I'm going to get it out to you one of these days. It's not today, but I am going to have more on my channel coming up this year to share with you. So look forward to that. Please like and subscribe if you are so inclined. Please let me know if you have a YouTube channel, a Flosstube channel. I would love to see what you're working on and hear what you're up to in life these days. Thank you again for joining me, you guys. I love you all, and I will see you again in the next video. Happy stitching. Bye.